All right. So this is the second day of the Manila Bug Squash, which is the midpoint check-in. Sorry, we met a couple of days ago and discussed all of the bugs that we wanted to implement as part of this Bug Squash. Thank you, folks, for joining. Yeah, so we can. This is happening at the time of the Manila Upstream Weekly meeting, which is yeah, where we usually will go through a couple of things like our release schedule. I think it's still nice if we can take a look at that. So I'll just share some thoughts here, and then we can go through the list of changes and see how things are going, and if we wanted to discuss something related to any of the changes being proposed. So yeah, we are currently at release minus, yeah, I think 2 or 3 week, right? This is cycle highlights. No, it's actually a couple of weeks more. Release minus 4, which is the Bug Squash week. I will be proposing the Manila cycle highlights by the end of today. That's my plan. We do have lots of things that we've accomplished for this release, so I think that might be one of the biggest cycle highlights I've ever wrote. So there's that, and yeah, I'll do to the hard work of this community. So I'll try submitting a patch for the release highlights today, and I'll share that with you as well. But yeah, it's something like that. It's a good reflection point on the cycle. That means RC1 is next week. That's why we placed Bug Squash on this week, right? Pretty much because we need. It's nice when we have an extra window week to work on the bugs and getting things merged before we actually hit RC1. So that's pretty much where we are. RC1 is supposed to be next week, and I was just chatting to Sai and Anup. We were talking about when things should get in, and ideally as early as we can next week, or any fixes that we are trying to propose, ideally by Wednesday, so that we can have the time to go update the RC1 patch and have the RC1 being shipped. So I think we were good in terms of the changes that we were proposing. Yes, I think there's the feature freeze exceptions. These are really under control. There were two actually for this cycle. One of them being the NetApp aggregate encryption support, which is already merged by now. But we also have another feature that we approved support our feature freeze exception for, which is the resource logs panel, which is still going through reviews in the Manila UI. So that's where we are for this release. So let's try focusing on closing as many bugs as we can before next Wednesday, when we'll ideally update the RC1 patch. And yeah, I think this week would be awesome if we could close a couple more bugs and make them part of this release, because yeah, we have great potential for introducing many more fixes and enhancements to this release. All that said, I think we can get back to the other part of this meeting, which would be somewhat the um, going through the list of bugs, but also understanding if there's something we need discussions on, or if there's something that we would need to add, or anything else that we'd like to do reviews. Review focus at this point. We are not focusing on lots of other features. We are only focusing on the feature freeze exceptions that we have, which is only one at this point. But also we are focusing mostly on the bugs for the reviews. And I think most bugs that we are focusing on are part of this list. If they aren't, then please bring them up to our attention. We still have time for merging a couple of things. I've reorganized this as per our last meeting. So I created a session for bugs that we are still looking at and for review. Some changes that already merged. I think I missed one, but I was counting 4 changes for bugs that we merged as an effort of this bug squash so far, and some other changes that were deferred to the next cycle, either for being not being the highest priority right now, like unit test changes, things like that, but also changes that were work in progress, or they are also adding an API version bump, which we would not like to do at this point in the cycle. So all of those changes are merged here to the defer to the next cycle session. I will update the Manila review focus etherpad for Hibiscus as well, and add those API changes to the top so that we don't keep forgetting them as we were doing. All of that said, I think we have a bunch of changes here that we can go through, check the status of them, and then see if we have any questions for each one of those. It's a much smaller list compared to um, a couple of days ago when we did this meeting, when we did the kickoff. So I think it should take somewhat less time. Um, yeah. So, is there something you folks would like to add right now to things I said for RC1 schedule or any other announcements that you'd like to bring up?
Yeah, like I was discussing, we have maybe one or two patches coming in for addressing the comments, right? I'm targeting to raise it by Monday night or Tuesday morning, so or maybe max by Tuesday. Just wanted to inform that's a pending stuff from my side.
Okay, thank you for the heads up.
For RC1. Yeah,
Hey, Sai, do you have what changes they are?
yeah, the comments only, Gautam. The core Manila and regarding the share replica, right? You and Carlos left out some comments, right?
Oh, I see.
So
Okay. So the
yeah,
follow-up patches.
yeah, just the follow-up patches. I've
Okay.
been busy. I was not available last day and been busy today. So tomorrow is a holiday for NetApp, so I'm not available next 3 days.
Okay.
So yeah. Monday or Tuesday by EOD, I'll be raising them. Most of them are, I mean, comments, right? So I think that's okay, right? So,
Yeah. Let's try and get them before the RC one. That would be
yeah,
the goal.
yeah. Maximum by Tuesday EOD, I will raise so that you can take a look.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks a
So
lot.
apart from that, I think we have a couple of bug. One bug is important. Actually, I think two customer is looking for the fix. So I think we means one of our colleague raised the patch. So I think that also would need to be pushed before RC1.
Yeah, I
So
see. So
we'll
do you
update
have
them.
those bug links? Are they already part of
Yeah,
this bug squash etherpad?
I think it's not updated here. I will share the link. Just give me a minute.
Awesome, thank you.
Well, Girish is looking. I was gonna ask if there are any issues with Python Manila client anybody's found, or with Manila UI. With the client, we're actually going to. I mean, we're not going to spin up another release unless there is a release critical bug.
Actually, recently we did not deploy the latest dev stack, but what happened to this UI issue? Any update on that, Carlos? Did we find something?
Oh yeah. So I was chatting about that with Gotham the other day, but I didn't come to a conclusion. Apparently, there was something in the plugin installation that was happening, and we were suspecting that maybe the plugin installation could be broken, not only on our end.
Okay. Okay. So,
Yeah, it's a great point. I think what we can do is at least file a bug, right? Uh, Sai, would you be able to do that? It would be against the
sure,
Manila UI project.
sure. I'm not sure if anybody has deployed latest. For that,
I
do
actually
I need
did,
to?
and I think we verified the issue at least on
No,
my
it's
dev
not
stack.
there then. Okay, in the
Yeah,
latest one.
it didn't show up. I think I don't know whether
I'll
it's a
try it
problem with
out.
the plugin or like the Manila UI plugin, or is it the problem with the dev stack plugin? So there are
Okay, maybe
multiple
let's have it
pieces there.
filed. I will file it. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. That'd be
Thank you.
useful.
Thank you.
So I have one more question. So I think means in this Rosso 18, I think we are putting that flamingo content, right? Or
Yeah, I'm not sure.
yeah.
That's something we
Okay.
should discuss as part of this meeting.
Okay. Okay. Sure. Okay. Sorry.
No
Yeah.
worries, no worries. Yeah, that's
Sure.
fine.
Mm.
We can please drop DM for Gautam and myself.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and then we can discuss about it. Not nothing secret though. It's just some other things that are happening and they are Rosso related.
Right. Okay.
No, don't
Right.
worry about it.
Thanks.
Yeah, so I added it to the wrong place, but I'll add this change you brought up to the list of changes to review. Thanks, Girish. We can take a look at that as well. Um, yeah, so they should. Thanks, Sai, for mentioning and taking a look at the filing the API bug, the Manila UI bug. Sorry. Yeah, so that's pretty much where we are with that. We don't have a good idea of what's happening, but let's dive into that later. Yeah, so there is going. If Do you have something else you'd like to bring up as part of this, or should we go through the
Hey,
list of bugs now?
so I have one thing that I wanted to bring up. I'll put it in the chat. There is one more bug that I would like to discuss, and I wanted to just understand how to handle this. It is this one, 2081990, where we wanted to understand what should be the behavior and how other drivers are actually managing this kind of share server migration. And I have a couple of more bugs. Give me a couple of minutes. I'm trying to find those bugs that I would like to discuss if we have some time.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I think that is this does this have a fix yet, or is it just are we triaging this?
It is not yet fixed. So this is something that we are trying to look at. So I wanted to understand if there is some kind of a history on this, because this is a old bug on NetApp side. So I think I see. Okay, I don't see Kiran there. Okay, if Kiran would have also been there, we could have discussed that as well with him.
Yeah,
But yeah, just to understand the.
yeah. So if Kiran, if it is important for Kiran to be here, I think we can add this to a triaging session, and then after we go through
Sure,
these changes that are part of the bug swatch, we can cover that and other bugs that might need
sure.
someone else as well to share some thoughts. Is that okay?
Yep.
Awesome. Thanks, Anup, for bringing this up. Um, yeah, so that's if you have other links, please drop them here at the triaging thing, and then we can go through that and discuss these bugs after we go through the status of the changes that we are targeting for this bug squash. Right. So on the first in the list of bugs to review, there is the Manila OSS Bowl bug, which I didn't have a chance to take a good look at it yet, but I will as soon as I free up some time. So,
Hey, Carlos, I can take this.
oh yeah,
I think I looked at it after last week's meeting. Vida
okay,
brought this up at the meeting. Um, yeah, I can take it. Don't worry.
awesome. Thank you very much.
Which means I haven't looked at it too. Yes, but I will.
Great. Thank you very much. Yeah, so next one, I think it was waiting on some rebases. We had, yeah, I think we had Sai at some point where, oh, it was me that should rebase this as well. So this is a change that one of our previous students, Rian, was working on, and we didn't have many reviews on it as part of this cycle. Or sorry, we didn't have many other reviewers, but Rian was putting some work on it. So I still think this is a valuable fix. I'll try getting the time to do the rebase for it today and fixing the test failures.
Yeah, I think I mean the review happened while we were like doing some pair programming with her and such. So the way the fix looks right now looks pretty good. I think if you rebase it and get CI to pass, this is a good fix to have for sure.
Yep, thank you. Yeah, so that's the second issue in the list, and the third one is the shared edition should not fail on removing affinity hints. We were having a discussion with Kiran earlier today where Anup raised that maybe we should need a log after like we identified that there is a not found in the metadata item get, especially when it comes from the share or something like that. So we maybe thought that the logs would a log should be nice here, but Kira was mentioning that maybe it would only be noise and we should just continue with the deletion, even though it wasn't found, and we should not log. I'm fine either way with this. Yeah, I think that the log would add a nice touch to it, but I'm not against merging this change if that happens. So we have a couple of reviews. Thanks for taking a look at this. We need another +2 on this, or we need some other thoughts, even if they are in +2 or if there's only feedback. So
Yeah, I was recommending a log because otherwise this happens without the customer knowing what is going on. So that was the point there. But I think it was a nit somehow. I thought that if we could handle this faster, we could have done that. But I think it should be okay because I saw that the other exceptions were also not handled with logs. So it should be fine, in my opinion. I can give a
Yeah,
+1 or I've taken a look at it. Yeah.
the problem with logging would be if I mean if you logged it, what is the action somebody would take? So if something was missing in the share manager layer, we typically log it so that in case there is some cruft left behind in a backend storage that we can't clean up, um, the administrator knows because we've left some breadcrumbs behind. But in the API like this, yeah, I doubt that there would be anything else they would have to do. It's not wrong. I mean, it just wouldn't. I agree with Kiran that it probably is not going to add too much. I mean, it's not helpful, I think, but it wouldn't be wrong either. So it would be nice if it's consistent. That's it. Thanks for bringing up the concern. I can be your other reviewer on this. And if the missing log is something that we want to continue to discuss, we could even have that as a follow up on this.
yep, that makes sense. Thank you, Gautam.
Yeah, I agree. I think I can go ahead also and provide a +1 for that because the rest of the things I was working with, this was the only concern. Thank
Perfect.
you.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Anup. Thanks, Gautam. Yeah, so we have another change that I should have rebased. This is related to some unit tests. For this is actually one change that was proposed after this change, which failed to merge, and it was quite ready to be merged. So I think we still have the time for this. So yeah, I will complete the rebase after the meeting, and I will submit the change. Yeah, so next change, it's related to one bug that was mismatching IPs or matching when we shouldn't be matching IPs. So we've had, I think, plenty of reviews, good reviews here. So thanks for taking the time, Gautam and Kiran, to review this change. I think we can wait on the author to get back to this. And then if they update this change in time, then yeah, it's a good fix for us still on this release. Yeah, so let's wait on updates for that. Next change is related to a bug in the SFFS driver, which was failing the shared, which was causing errors in the shared deletion when a shard did not exist anymore. So I've proposed a fix, and we had a duplicated fix for that. The other fix had a couple of different issues, and there were many review comments that were resolved, quote unquote, but there are still issues pending there. And I think this other approach is clean, and it's easier to review. Take a look at that. So we had some reviews, I think, in the past. Yes, I got them reviewed this already at some point. So we need some other reviewers to take a look at this. This is a bug we caught after testing manage and manage in the CI. So would be nice to have this in the Ceph driver. I've tagged some more reviewers again. So if you have the time, please take a look at it, and I'll be happy to address any feedback you have. Yeah. So next up is yeah, this change, which was waiting on a rebase. I think it changed ownership a couple of times. Thanks for taking this oversight. You mentioned you didn't have much time to work on this on bug squash stuff, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's fine. If you have the time, please take a look at this. And yeah, otherwise we can defer this to the next release.
Sure. Thank you.
Awesome, thanks. So next up is a bug related to share groups created from snapshots being created with different share group types or group types. I had only a couple of remarks here on this bug. The code looked good to me. There were only remarks related to adding some extra or deleting some blank lines, and that can mess up with the commit history. I don't think there's
Yeah,
a big
and
issue.
and this was supposed to be me, right? Like I was supposed to refresh this change.
Oh, I didn't remember us taking that note, but yeah, if you'd
Oh,
like
okay.
to go for it,
No,
please go ahead.
if this was Ashley's, then yes, I think. I
No, it
just.
was a
Oh, it's
different
not.
one. Yeah,
Oh, okay, okay. So there was another things very similar uh,
yeah,
that had stuff about. I mean, that Ashley had pushed up. Um, okay, thanks. I don't know whether this is critical. If I haven't taken a look for one. Feel free to
yeah.
add me.
Don't worry. It's the fix. It seems simple somehow. So yeah, I looked at it, but the main issues were kind of like nits. So I didn't have a big issue with the whole implementation. If you folks have the time, please take a look at this, and yeah, we might be able to merge this as part of this cycle still. Right. So up next we have, I think that's the one that you were talking about, Gautam. But this one you did rebase, and you did all of the testing for it. You know, like you created a manual Tempest plugin change to test this. I think I rejected last time. Oh, merge failed. Yeah, that's in merge conflict. Um, Something has merged in the Manila Tempest plugin repository, and that makes us not being able to test this. But I remember the test passed in the CephFS driver job, and I think even in the
Yeah.
Ceph
I think we had
NFS.
some cleanup failures when with snapshots, and I'm not sure whether that was related to us fixing up the share group stuff, right? Like we were taking more snapshots than we did, um, and we know that Ceph has a limit of concurrent snapshots,
Yeah,
and so we might be running into that in the CI. That's kind of what this test could have probably told us. But yeah, I can rebase refresh this, and if it's at concurrency limit, I can try dropping down the concurrency on the tests. It's not ideal because we'd actually have a slower test job. But we can just skip a few tests that we're okay with skipping. If we're able to verify snapshots in one or two of those tests, we don't really need to run 20. um, so we have some options where we can discuss the Manila Tempest plugin aspect of things, but I can see that this fix is working.
Agreed. I do agree with that the fix is working. The only thing would be, like understanding that from the tests, and that should help us. But yeah, thanks for offering to take a look at that. And as you said, like this fix should be ready. So if I've tagged some reviewers on this change, so if you could please take a look at this and help us merging it, it
So
would be awesome.
one question, Gautam. So does this also affect the behavior share group snapshots are taking on other drivers like
No, probably not, right? Like, so technically, this is a regression in Ceph,
Okay.
specifically. So they used to support group snapshots, and now they don't. So that's
Oh,
why we had to like fall back on the Manila implementation. And Manila's implementation is just going to try to create an ephemeral group and take a individual snapshot and just represent that as a group snapshot.
okay.
But it should not affect other drivers like NetApp, for instance, that are able to take group snapshots.
Got it. Okay, sure. I'll take a look at it. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right. Next one. This is the generic driver bug. Rose proposed a fix. I've tagged some reviewers here as well. It would be nice if we could get some reviews for this and merge it as part of this cycle. Even though we know, or we don't recommend people to use the generic driver for production, we know that there are some people using it. So it's nice when we can ship some fixes for it. So to the reviewers we discussed in the previous call, myself included, if you could please take a look at this would be much appreciated. Yeah, next one was related to the first deletion of share backups, which yeah, it's which was a partial solution. We added a note that would follow up to this fix. So, and this also includes a Manila template, Python Manila client change, which, like we are in a state that we should possibly hold off on merging unless it's something really um, crucial and something that is fixing something that's badly broken at this point. So, yeah, maybe this is also a candidate for the next release, unless we want to get this in really badly for this cycle.
Yeah, I think the problem is that, I mean, this was reported by somebody that was testing this with VirtIOFS. Um, so the problem is that if a backup fails for some reason, or is in a transitional state, there is just no way to get rid of it. Uh, if the data service is bounced, for instance, there's just not enough controls in the API that'll allow you to actually clean that up. So it feels like something that we should fix up in a Slurp release like this, so that we don't run into issues. Uh, yeah, it probably Zachary is not around. He did push up the fix. It looks good. I think the only concern I said was the API is probably not going to change. The behavior on the back end might have to change, because right now what's happening is that it's going to send the request back to the back end, but not worry about it. So it's not really the same delete call. It's really the same delete call as with force delete. It's like how we used to deal with shares and snapshots and everything else before we actually got force delete to do a little bit more on the back end. So that's the concern. So if we want, we could try to clean up the API change and have a known issue that says we'll at least let you clean up your backups as long as the backend also cooperates. But that's as much as the fix goes. And maybe in the next release we can backfill the back end portion of this.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't oppose to that. It would be a nice fix.
Yeah, let me follow up on this stuff. I'll make it. Sorry that I just didn't get around to it. I mean, part of the work that we were doing in the past week went into eventlet stuff, and so that's all consuming.
Yeah, no, don't worry. Thank you for offering to take a look at this and picking it up. Really appreciate it. Great. Any other thoughts on this and first deletion of share backups? Right, taking silence as no. I think we can move to the next one, which is the one that we mentioned that it was likely addressed by another change. It was boot from volume for GHSS true in the generic driver. It's a similar change to something that we already saw. So Pavlov's proposed this change, but someone else already worked on it on this too, and yeah, the change got merged. So we've pinged here, and I'm not sure Pablo had the chance to get back to it yet and test, but I do think this can be dropped, or we can abandon this change in favor of the other one that was already merged. Yeah, with that said, I think this is sitting here, but we don't have an action item for it yet. Next up is NetApp's improved share enhancements, share enhancements. Sorry, this is something we've been reviewing for a couple of rounds. I posted some reviews, and I think NetApp folks also had the chance to. NetApp CI failed here, but if I recall correctly, at some point it had a build passing. But yeah, that's we also have NetApp engineers acknowledging this change. I think it should be okay. The ensure shares mechanism, it would be nice if could have some testing results for this. CI does not test this because first, we don't restart the services, and second, we don't trigger the ensure shares routine manually in any of the CI jobs. So testing for this is really important. So that would be my one of my thoughts for this. Like ensure that we have the testing for it, but code-wise, it looks okay to me. We need more reviewers on this, though. I think we've tagged enough people already. So the reviewers tagged on this, if you could please take a look, that would help a lot.
Yes, can do.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Gautam. Yeah, the next one. Share backups quota can't be set, which this change was only bumping the API version, and I think it was also related to the USC command. Yeah, and we already are at the sorry, yeah, I think we also have the client change for this. Yes. So the client change would be the most important piece, and we kind of missed the deadline for it. This is one of those cases that we mentioned. Maybe if we need an exception, it should be for a change like this that allows setting quotas in the share backups. So yeah, this is a kind of like a tough spot because we are a couple of weeks past the Python Manila client release. So maybe at the end, this will be a candidate for next cycle. Any other thoughts on this? Do you disagree? I do think this is important, though. Please don't get me wrong. I really do. The only thing is we shipped the client and stuff like that, so it makes it more difficult at this point. And yeah, introducing.
Yeah. So even if we ignored the client bit and got the API in, would that be helpful? Because I mean, like you said, it's a coda control, so it's certainly something that is a security issue without having codas to expose the API to somebody.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I need to go and do some checking, but I think the quota control was already part of the API, but we didn't have the client to consume it only. If that's,
Oh, I see.
if I recall correctly. So let's take a look at the bug. That would help me. I think that's That's currently
CLI
API
stuff.
only, but yeah, we don't have the CLI. So
But there seems to be another thing in the same topic, or am I confused?
yes, there is. So this other one, but it's only bumping the API version. But if we already support the quota control in the API, we don't need to bump the version, right? Not
Correct.
in the
And
API.
it's not doing anything else. Oh, that's
Nope.
okay. Oh, okay. So I think Zach was just confused about this.
Yep.
Okay. This makes me feel better. Yeah, it's okay to not have the quota control in the CLI. I mean, it's just a missing feature. But yeah, as opposed, it's a less serious problem not having quota control at all.
Yeah.
Because the API exposes it. There are other ways to get to it.
Agreed.
Yeah, this makes
Yes.
sense. Yeah, it's not the sort of thing that we could stop the release for.
Yeah. Agreed. Um, awesome. Any other thoughts on share backup quotas? Right, on to the next one. We are almost done with this list, and then we'll have the time to go through other changes, other bugs as well. So the next one is NetApp enabling SMB signing. I did another pass of review on it earlier this morning. I think I caught an issue, but Kiran promptly fixed this. So yeah, I'll circle back to it, and some NetApp engineers had already reviewed it, which is great. So thanks Anup Kumar and Kirish for reviewing this change as well. I'll circle back to it, but after I think that the comments that I left in the change, I'll be good with merging this. So yeah, we'll need some extra pairs of eyes on this. I think if Girish, if you could also circle back, I can take a look too, and we can try merging it.
I think this one is already reviewed, if I'm not wrong, by most of us.
Oh yeah, it was reviewed, but I think I
Okay.
caught kind of like a small bug here.
Insert.
Instead of checking
Okay.
the CIFS server existence, it was checking for the SVM existence, which would happen.
Okay.
But like we should go ahead and check for the CIFS server instead, not only the SVM. So Kiran fixed that. That would
Okay.
require some testing as well, because I was surprised like the other approach was working. So would be nice if we could get some testing for it. But yeah, some extra pairs of eyes would be awesome too.
Sure. Okay.
Great, thank you. Yeah, 3 more to go. Next one is the Manila shares server list endpoint is low. The two enhancements to making this share server list going faster. We're using an approach that we did in the past, which is moving the filtering to the database instead of doing it in the API. So we linked this. Sylvan replied to the comment we did in the change, and then mentioned that it was I don't know, view and stuff. It was being moved. So I'll take a look and circle back um, to his comment, and I think it's a great enhancement, to be honest. So I'll ask him to fix the merge conflict, and then I think it's still a good fix for us to get into this release.
Yeah, agreed. I think between the two changes being proposed and the V1 removal, probably all went into merge conflict on the same time. So I guess he has an understanding of what's going on. So it'll be nice for him to rebase and refresh it.
Yep, I'll ask that in the change. Thank you. Yeah, next up we have considered transitioning share servers for unused deletable. I think this adds a couple of extra status when we are checking for all share servers that could be deletable. So and then it adds also share servers, like a couple of extra status to this list. So currently we don't delete share servers that are active, in error, and inactive, but it also makes sense to do not delete share servers that are creating or deleting, or attempt issuing the deletion again. So this is a part, this function is called as a part of periodic task we have in the share manager. So from what I got from this fix, yes, it's just like extending this to do not attempt deleting the share servers, or filter the share servers that are still creating or deleting.
Wait, I'm understanding it as the opposite, right? So we are finding now creating and deleting states as also deletable, right? Is that's what this fix seems to be doing? Like it's adding it to the list of servers that are deletable.
Oh yeah, that's correct. That's the opposite. So this, I got the wrong thing from this function. So yeah, and then this checks a couple of extra
Right.
variables, right?
My concern is if somebody misconfigures something, this has the potential to actually break the way Manila, creates and deletes servers. Period.
Yeah,
So in case somebody sets this to, let's say, 1 minute, and we have a server that takes longer than a minute to provision, it actually gets added to a queue to delete,
yeah,
um, and it might actually get deleted and break something else. Um,
agreed. Yes.
so it is kind of a weird thing, and I'm gonna ask very this thingly. So like if you have something that's stuck, is it possible reset the status as an administrator before this sort of and then you wouldn't even need this fix, right? You can
Yeah,
reset it to an error state. But I'm not sure. I mean, in their deployment, they could have this to be a very large number, let's say 60 minutes. Um, and so they're checking once every 60 minutes if something needs to be deleted, and they're probably catching a bunch of things that are creating and deleting that never made it,
yeah,
and maybe that's what their concern is. So
yeah.
I can leave this comment on the Gerrit patch, but just was curious if anybody else had any thoughts like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I agree with you that this can change the current behavior. I think the only side effect, if we make administrators changing the status instead to something else like error, is that this could take one more cycle to be deleted, because it checks against the updated at. So it would only be deleted, I don't know, in the next cycle, or it. But yeah,
True.
that shouldn't be a big problem.
Yeah, yeah, true. But I mean, in their case, it might be. I mean, in somebody's cloud, that could mean that it's consuming network resources,
Yes.
um, ports and such. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
So what we are saying is creating should not be included in that list of statuses, right?
Yeah, because bad things could happen unless
Correct.
the time of deletion is actually large enough that we know that it's just stuck,
Yeah,
and
agreed.
so we're going to start tearing it down.
Right. That is correct. Yeah. I think that also, applies for the swing states that we have on the app side, which can be, intermediate states.
Yeah, true. Yeah, if we had intermediate immediate states, that would probably make it a little easier to decide. But these are, yeah, broad. Has the backend accepted the request and is just processing it, and it's taking some time, and um, you know and we come around and ask it to delete, that might actually break something.
Right. Right. Agreed.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thanks, Gautam, for sharing your thoughts. Please post your thoughts in the change. Yeah,
Yes,
Kiran will be happy to hear that. Yeah,
thanks.
awesome. Yeah, and then we get to the new addition to this list. An issue with creating shares when the node's down. So thanks, Meta, for submitting this change. I think there's still time for us to take a look at this. I looked at the bug report, and it really feels like a bug, not a new feature from what the bug describes. Yeah, it was reported more than 6 months ago, like 9 months ago. So it's important if we can go chase this down. Yeah. Any questions for the app engineers on this, or should we go to the other bug that was
So I
addressed?
have a follow-up question on this behavior that we have. I mean, we wanted to fix this other problem as well, right? But we were kind of discussing this as a separate, maybe refactoring that you would want to do. So today, what we do is we create lists, data lists on all the nodes that are mapped to the SVM, and it is like if there is a node down or if there is a lift failure on either of the nodes, we fail the share create job or share create request, right? So ideally for an NFS share, one lift is good enough, and that is what OnTap also recommends, to have at least one lift that can be used, whether it is and the only thing that OnTap recommends, or basically the storage on our side recommends, is to have the lift created on the node where the share belongs to. So we would like to change this behavior where we are going and creating a lift for each node, expecting some kind of a multipathing behavior, which is not in the case of NFS shares, right? Because if they are mounted. So that, what is the thought on that? Because I see that this is unnecessary, because we end up creating so many lifts depending on how many nodes you have, and how many SVMs you create, and it ends up eating up the IP addresses, free IP addresses that are present on the customer site.
Hey, this is a blast from the past for me. Uh, so I actually was aware of this issue a while ago, and it kind of
Okay.
had a real impact in a real deployment. So it vastly reduces the amount of vServers you can create as well on an ONTAP storage system. Uh,
Exactly.
because I mean the real number is actually in the three digits, but then because of the aggregates and the
Yep.
number of lifts you're provisioning, it probably comes down to single digits or two digits, and
Right.
that might actually be a scale concern as well. So yeah, it's totally useless to put lifts on all of the nodes. But my only concern, I have not looked at this code. My only concern would be to have the home node and its partner node at least considered, so that
Okay.
you're if you do have a you know I don't know how that works. I mean,
No, I
I
so
given the
basically in
configuration.
that case, right? So if you have a partner node, what happens is you can actually have a failover policy for the lift,
Hmm.
and if the partner
It
goes down,
moves.
it actually moves, right? So
Okay.
lift movement automatically happens. So
Okay.
at the end of the day, having a different lift ends up, having a different mount path for the customer as well, right? So he will have to remount unless the lift
Right.
moves.
Right.
So the right way or right behavior of this is to have policies created on lifts, and ensure that the partner is available, at least if even if the main primary node goes down.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense to me. And is that something that the DHSS true driver already does? Like, does it take the lift
We
policy
do
as well?
not have that behavior. So lift policy, I will have to check. I don't know if we create. Girish, are you aware of that
Yeah.
behavior? Whether
So yeah, so lift policy, I think DHS is true. We don't create. Looks like, but I think it's better if we can add that in our
that
logic
should
which we
as
are
well.
thinking.
Right,
Yeah.
right. It
So
should just
yeah,
be one API call, right? Additional post API call that might be
yeah.
helpful for ensuring that the lift is available on the partner.
Yeah. So it's kind of redesigning the existing behavior actually, where we are creating the lift on the each node. So I
Right.
think we have
Not a
some
lot of
thought.
redesign. It is, yeah, it is
Mhm.
just about reducing the number of node lifts that we create. If one is successfully created and we have enough policy to fail over, I think that should be good enough for.
Other no, other thing what we discuss actually will while creating the share server at that time will not go and create the lift actually. So lift creation will happen when we are creating the first volume kind of things,
Exactly.
or
I think
means
that is
other
another thing that we should do.
uh,
Yes.
means initial share server creation will create the lift on the node where volume is created. When second request come, when it's placing the volume in the different node, that time we'll go and create the lift on the second node kind of things. So it's all
Exactly.
about the optimal path. So that we discuss. Yeah.
Agreed.
So I see. So if you have a cluster that spans multiple nodes, you're going to have to still request a bunch of lifts from Manila, a bunch of ports from Manila, and that number of ports is it reducing at all, or is it reducing by half, uh, something like that?
It it totally depends on what aggregates are used and which nodes, the shares are created in that case, right? So it just changes the way we wanted to, place the lifts. And if we can do that, right, the lift creation as part of volume create, which is like the first volume that gets created on that particular node creates the lifts as well. The rest of the volumes can actually reuse those lifts that are already created. So
But
that
they
may
could end up
reduce
in a
the
different aggregate that's not part of that node.
aggregate. So basically, if we find that there is a data that is available, which can be used for mounting, we will just use that existing lift. And if we don't have a lift, we will just not create it during the volume creation. So that way we know which node the volume is getting created on and ensure that the lift is available, and maybe add that F policy along with that so that there is a failover handling that is already there.
Okay. Yeah, I can take a look at this code as a reviewer.
Yeah. So, Gautam, just an update. This one right now is just a bug fix, which is
Mhm.
for the note down. We have not handled all these things, and
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're
plan
talking
to do
about
this in the
right.
future. Yes. It is.
Okay, makes sense.
This optimization is required because I think right now we are kind of doing a lot of things during the share creation, and it ends up eating up a lot of IPs and skill issues, as you rightly pointed out.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you.
Yep.
Awesome. Great discussion. Thank you. Um,
Yeah. Thank you.
all right. So we had one other bug that was added for triaging, and I see Kiran joined us. Thanks for joining, Kiran. Oh, did Kiran leave? Sorry, I just saw him joining, and then I think he dropped.
I think he has some VPN issue. This keeps happening when you are on a VPN, which doesn't allow you consistent access to the external network.
Yeah.
I was facing it one day as well. Yeah.
Yep. So would you like to? We have a couple more minutes, like 3 minutes. We can stay. I can
Sure.
stay in the call if you'd like. I'll say we can wrap this up after.
Yeah, it is just about the behavior. I just wanted to maybe bring it out on what we plan to do. Anyway, Um, so, so what happens right now is, if you're doing a share server migration from, say, cluster one to cluster two, and if my shares in SV1, cluster one, were actually distributed across nodes. When we do the share server migration, it ends up creating all the volumes or migrating all the volumes to a single node or a single aggregate. That behavior is something that is not likable behavior, and we are looking to see if we can fix this overall. So I just wanted to check how other drivers or how other what should be the right behavior in this case, because the problem here is we are doing a share server migration. There can be QoSs that can be attached to the volumes or shares. Will it be a right decision for us to distribute the nodes based on capacity, based on IOPS? How do we do that distribution so that we can influence on tap to see if those things can be included while doing a SVM migrate.
That's a good point, and I think you guys have solved this in the driver. That's what I thought. And the reason that I'm thinking that is probably I'm thinking of the aggregate uh, map. concept that exists in Cinder for
Okay.
cheesecake replication. So
Right.
technically, when you're moving volumes or replicating volumes from one place to another, you just have something tell you that this is where the volume should go
Right.
in the
Right.
destination. So maybe that sort of a thing will probably help here if it doesn't exist, and
Great.
that is really just a NetApp concern, I think, because a lot of the backends could just be a single aggregate sort of a thing. Um,
Okay.
so pool mapping is something that you can introduce like a configuration, um, and
Right.
have the administrator drive it, because at the end of the day, the number of on-tap clusters is going to be a small number, and so
Agreed.
being able.
I think this was the exact thought process that I had to take that Cinder aggregate mapping. Let's put it in Manila Conf, and that way we get the mapping, and the customer
Right.
can drive that, and we don't have to think about placing the volumes when we migrate the shares. That's a good
Right.
point.
I mean,
Agreed.
alternatively, of course, you can. I mean, if there's something that the driver can do intelligently, like
Yeah.
intelligently placing the volumes, that it maybe that you don't need the configuration always. Like if the config doesn't exist, the driver will take a call, right? So,
Agreed. Agreed. Yep, that's a great point, Gautam. We'll take care. I think there is a way to influence how you want to place the shares or volumes in the destination while doing the migration. We'll try to use that as a default behavior and maybe introduce some kind of an aggregate mapping where the customer can also drive this behavior instead of us deciding the placement during the migration. Yeah,
So,
makes it.
other thing even I'm seeing in different means it's kind of volume provisioning or even protection related, right? Where you can provide the scheduler to hint in the sense where which pool you want to provision, kind of things. So
But this will not be
that approach. Hmm?
this will not be coming from scheduler, right? This is actually completely driver owned workload. Yes. If
Yeah,
it's coming from the
complex.
share create, it is actually scheduler decides where the placement should be based on some activities that we call it. But when
Right,
someone is
right.
trying to or looking to migrate the SVM or share server, it
Mhm.
completely depends on how the driver handles it.
Yeah, means we can also provide some kind of command line where we can pass actually this pool, and that pool selection will be done by scheduler, and it's passing that to driver, and driver
Right.
will pick up that like that.
I think what Gotham was also hinting about it was the behavior we have for replication in Cinder, where we can actually do aggregate mapping, right? That way, if we bring
Yeah,
that kind of a mapping for source and destination backends, it can be easily mapped in the Manila.conf, and we can take that mapping and use it for placement.
yeah, and that approach fine, but only that it's kind of hard coded actually. Hard coded means you have decided, okay, this is my pool, and you are going to provision there. But if you give that one to the scheduler, okay, go and provision based on the suitable backend for me or pool for me. So scheduler can take the right decision. We can discuss this further. That
Sure.
if you see even replication also replication when you're creating that destination volume, right? So that time scheduler can picture you can have that scheduler hint kind of things. It will go and provision the secondary volume in different destination. I think
Maybe
Gautam
let's
also
discuss
left.
that maybe.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's discuss that maybe internally
We'll
in the team.
discuss. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. In the interest of time, maybe we can take the other bug in the other meeting, Carlos. I will not hold everyone back.
Sure. Sounds great. Thank you, Anup, for bringing this up. There are two other issues that I would not that I would like to get our attention though. So I apologize for this running long. I'll try to be brief about this next two. One of them is being proposed by the Samsung engineers. So yeah, and I really appreciate Hong and Kim being in this call, being so late for them as well. So thank you very much for joining us. And thanks for promptly addressing any comments we dropped into your changes, and also for proposing fixes and features. We really appreciate your work. So this change is also a bug fix, not kind of bug fix, but like it's a really nice change that we can still introduce. It was proposed in time for this release. It's been waiting on reviews for a while now, so I still think we can have some eyes on this. So I'll take a look at this review. Thanks, Anup, for taking a look at that as well. Girish, if you could also take a look, I think I'll also ask Gotham, and I'll do that myself too. And yeah, I just added that to our list of reviews. And there was another fix being proposed by Sylvia, which is joining us in this meeting. I apologize. I apologize for not looking at that earlier. But yeah, I think that there might be an issue in the deployment. And that fix is really valuable. So yeah, I'll add that to our list of reviews as well. And I think that's a really good enhancement. So I'm dropping a link for that. So OpenStack Manila. So on these two changes, or like all of the changes that we discussed, is there any other change or something else you would like to bring up for this bug squash, or something we missed discussing? So I just dropped the link for one of the changes, and I'm dropping the link for the second one. So thanks, Sylvia, for proposing both fixes, and also Kim and Hong for all of the changes you've been proposing. It's awesome to have your fixes and your feedback on these changes. So thank you very much. We really appreciate that. All that said, we are 6 minutes past the time, and I apologize again for having this meeting running late, but I do think this was really productive, and we had, I don't know, even though we had 3 or 4 fixes merged, we could see through the list that many of them are also close to getting merged. So I do think we'll have great numbers for this cycle. I'll keep updating this Etherpad so that we can keep track of how many bugs we fixed. But I do think there will be a great outcome out of this. So I really appreciate everyone's hard work, not only on the bug squash, but on the release. As I said, there's also a lot happening, and I'll be working on the cycle highlights. There's lots of good things to share with the world for this release in OpenStack Manila. So thank you very much for your contributions and for the hard work you've been putting on this release with reviews, code contributions, documentation, all of that. So quality engineering as well, like Manila Themes plugin and testing stuff, that really helps, and that's the direction, that's the right direction. So thank you very much for all of the work you've been putting in. Is there something else you'd like to bring up? Otherwise, let's wrap up. I think it's a holiday tomorrow in India. Our folks are likely looking forward for the break, and it's late for them as well. And also it's late for our folks in Korea. So I think if we don't have anything else to bring up, let's wrap this up and get back to OpenStack Manila, and I'll post the recordings to the OpenStack Manila YouTube channel.
Everyone, for all your participations.
Yeah,
Awesome job.
it's really great. And thank you, Vida, for putting this together. You're awesome. I told you that already, but yeah, it's really nice to have you, like organizing this, and also taking care of our bugs, backlog, and all of that. So huge shout out to Vida. Yeah, thanks for working on this.
Thanks everyone for pitching in, Carlos and everybody. Take care.
Awesome. Let's wrap up. Thank you very much for participating. Let's get back to the OpenStack Manila IRC channel.
Thank you, everyone. Good day.